realizing for myself this whole waiting room analogy thing of like, it's been really comfortable for me to wait around and see where things go and how things unfold and what comes of my life. But ultimately, if I really want to accomplish the life of my dreams and I want to get myself places that I've always wanted to get to, I have to do fucking something about it. Like, I can't just wait around and be like, universe, drop it into my head. Like, that's not how that works. And I am predominantly a spiritual person, but I'm also like really knowing of the fact that like you are ultimately the universe and you are in control of your life and of your destiny and you are the creator in all the sense. And even though there are moments where like I think I relinquish that control because I don't want to be super honest with myself and I just like mentally I think separate and I'm like, it's something else out there, it's not, you know, me. I think deep down honestly I do know that it is me, and I think that just leaves me with this feeling of like irritation with myself because I'm like, why the fuck, like if it's me then I'm doing this to myself, I'm sabotaging myself and my life and my happiness and my whatever the fuck, and that just makes me frustrated with myself. And I really don't like feeling negatively towards myself because I used to feel really negatively towards myself for a long time in my life, and I've put in a lot of work to not feel that way towards myself. So I think sometimes I get a bit in denial because I don't want to like go back to those really like not fun feelings. I was gonna go with the front camera, but then I want to see how I look when I record these videos. I'm currently living at my friend's apartment with her in Sweden. I do not live in Sweden. I don't technically live anywhere. I don't have a country to call home. I don't have an apartment or a place of my own. I don't have a job. And I'm turning 28 in 2 weeks. So that's really fun. That's just so much fun. If there's anything I realized through this time of sort of like occasionally worrying and stressing about the future, I've realized it's ultimately such a privilege to be in the position that I'm in because I really have the opportunity to start my life from scratch and to basically rebuild myself and my life how I want it to look going forward. And that's absolutely not something that a lot of people have the opportunity to do. And I've been fortunate to live such a fulfilling life so far and to have had so many unbelievably amazing experiences that have come with, you know, pain and insecurity and discomfort a lot of times. But again, you're not losing if the goal is experience, or you're not failing if the goal is experience. And that's something that I read and thought to myself, that's like absolutely my outlook on life, that my version of success is really just to live and to learn and to grow and to see as much and meet as many and have conversations and interact and learn about myself and just do all the things that I want to do that interest me. So that's really like going forward, I think, my approach to success and how I want to live my life, which has really taken away this pressure of feeling like I need to do things the way other people and society as a whole sort of expects me to do them. And I've already known for a while that I'm not really someone that's going down the traditional path. I don't want to have a family. I don't want to have kids of my own. I don't want to have a 9-to-5 career kind of job. Like, I literally would rather, do you know what I'm saying? Like, to sort of really know for myself when something is right and when something is wrong. I have to think about it in a really dramatic sense. So I just know for myself that a lot of the traditionally expected expectations are not, I don't know what's going on with my hair, I never do. Where am I even going with this? I feel like I've recorded like 27 kinds of videos where I just talk about the fact that like I don't know where my life is going. I don't know what's going on. I have absolutely no certainty whatsoever in this present moment. But I do, you know, maybe it's really important to say that I know for certain this is the moment in my life where I'm like, enough is enough, and I'm honestly just sick and tired of running away from taking the action that I know I need to take, because I've realized that I'm actually really more so comfortable in the state of waiting. But the dentist appointment is something you're also kind of dreading, because let's say it's not pleasant for you and you're kind of scared of the dentist, and you know you're gonna have to like get injections and get something removed and get something drilled, and it's just like the idea of it all is just so like so you're kind of really comfortable in the waiting room, and you kind of would love to prolong being in the waiting room as long as possible, because you're still in the state where you have no obligations. You know, you're there, You don't have to be at work. You don't have to be with your kids, with your partner, with, you know, doing all these things. You're sort of just left sitting here waiting to go into the dentist office. But you don't also want to really be at inside the dentist office, so you're just chilling in this waiting room. And obviously in real life, that you don't get to decide how long you're in the waiting room. The fucking nurse is gonna come out and call your name when it's time. But in life, it's really like, and look, honestly, as well in life, I think I also couldn't wait in the waiting room forever. Like, I don't have wealthy parents to financially support me through the sort of like discovering myself, figuring out my life. I don't have that privilege. I don't. I know maybe it seems like I do because I'm just like out here like chilling, whatever. Like, I don't have a thing figured out. But I really don't have that like opportunity to fall back on something. Ultimately, cannot wait around any longer. I cannot wait for things to change, for things to sort of find their way in a direction that, you know, could be what I want, could be ish similar to what I want. Because at the end of the day, it's really only myself that knows what I want. I'm the only human alive that knows where I want to go, where I want to be, what I want to do, the kind of people I want to surround myself with, the kind of clothes I want to wear, the kind of foods I want to eat, the kind of places I want to travel to. Like, these are all things only I really ultimately know. And I just cannot, like, I know, like, I don't even know. If anything, I think I'm sick and tired of hearing myself talk about this shit over and over again and constantly delaying it by yapping about shit that honestly isn't getting me anywhere closer. I have no responsibilities. I have nothing to my name besides my things. I have no place that I live in. I have no job. I have no country. Every time I say that, it kind of like boggles my mind a little bit because it's like, what? Like, I've never been really at the point where I've like not had a country that I've lived in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a common thing. Actually, maybe for asylum seekers, and that's absolutely not what I'm trying. That's not me. This is by choice. I'm in this situation and position by choice. So this is all coming from a very privileged first world white woman perspective situation, and I'm aware of that entirely. So there's no complaining about anything besides my own little like white girl problems. And even when I think about like, let's say getting the money that I want or think that I need to have sort of the stability and security in my life, I just think to myself, like, all right, let me just imagine the situation. I get all this money deposited into my bank account, and then what? And where am I going? What am I doing? What's going to be the next step in my life? Do you know, like, people think, and I, for a long time as well, thought, like, oh, I just need the money. Like, if I just got this much money, I would be good. I'd be set. But it's like, you still have to live your life. You still have to, like, do things with your time, and you have to, like, exist. And you can't just like wake up every day, do the same things. And like, yeah, people maybe think like, oh, I would just travel all the time. Look, something about me, I don't want to travel all the time. I've really ultimately gone to the state of like wanting stability and wanting to be a bit more settled in one place. What is the fuck? Wanting to be settled in my life. And so I really want to be in one place and then like travel from there occasionally, because honestly, I'm also not the kind of gal that like wants to be backpacking for weeks, months at a time. Absolutely not. I was just in Indonesia for a month, and that was, again, it sounds like I'm such a complainy brat. I promise it's not like I'm ungrateful for the opportunity, but I'm also just not the kind of person that wants to be in a foreign place, moving constantly, like in this instability element of travel that it has, you know, for long periods of time. All right, I think I've kind of like, you know, I don't know if it's like an age thing, but I'm kind of over it. No offense. Again, travel is just not something I'm interested in at the moment, because again, I think for a lot of people, travel is just an opportunity to escape. I really think a lot of people utilize travel as like a form of escapism, and it's really like a bit sad to see, because I think instead of going somewhere to appreciate a different culture, a different landscape, a different ecosystem, you know, like all of the things a new place has to offer, people go to sort of just run away from their life and create this like identity of a new person in this new country, and try and like accumulate experiences and situations that'll make them feel better about themselves and their lives, because back home they don't have that feeling. And then I just don't think there's as much appreciation for like where you're actually at, because people are so in their heads about like trying to mentally escape from themselves and their lives as who they are, that they don't really get to be as present, and then they go back home and they're fucking sad, like the post-vacation blues. I think I'm ready to get back to reality. I think I'm ready to get back to, you know, the things I know I need to get back to. Like, my life, because I'm not trying to escape or run away from my life. I'm actually really interested and invested in my life, and I want to do things for myself, and I want to figure it out. I think it's that ADHD, low dopamine brain thing, where the thought of something excites you so much, it gives you the dopamine, but then when it actually comes to doing the thing, you become very like avoidant, and you get into like fight or flight or fawn or whatever those responses are. And I absolutely have that problem. I have this like terrible indecision paralysis sometimes, where I'm like, I don't know what the right thing to do is in this moment. Like, what is the right decision to be making? And then that's when I kind of outsource to something external, and I think, give me a solution, give me a confirmation, give me something, because I just feel like I'm out here alone doing things that I technically haven't really ever done, because for so long I've just sort of like, I don't want to say like I've hopped through life, I've just like existed through life and not done anything like actively and consciously towards what I want from my life. You know, I've moved places I wanted to move that actually, but ultimately I do think a lot of places that I was guided to by, you know, something. I do have a really strong belief that a lot of elements of your life are predetermined, but we do have free will at the end of the day, and we do have, you know, the ability to make choices differently. And again, I absolutely could have made different choices, but it's also those like internal nudges, and I absolutely believe they're there for a reason, and you should follow them, because they ultimately, I think, are always guiding you to where you need to go. And every single situation, person, country, job, residence in my life that has ever occurred has given me something. Even if it wasn't like ultimately the thing that I wanted, it still gave me an experience and a lesson ultimately, which again, you can't fail if the point is experience, you know? I think a lot, but I do think a lot actually. I have ADHD, and I really just want to take this opportunity to speak to the people that don't have ADHD. And I just need you guys to understand, because for my whole life, there was never even a thought that crossed my mind where I thought to myself, other people could have brains that function differently from mine. And now, as somebody who is very certain of her ADHD, despite like not having a proper diagnosis, and it's not because I don't want to get one, it's because I can't. I don't have fucking medical insurance at the moment. Diagnoses. I know I have it, because when was anybody gonna fucking tell me that it's actually not normal, but not everybody has a brain that's functioning 24 hours a day, except for when I sleep, so technically maybe like 16 hours. Yeah, when was somebody gonna mention that fact? Because I really was out here thinking that this is how people's brains work. Like, for literally, I'd say 25 years of my life, I thought that having a constantly talking, thinking, not functioning brain is always functioning, but like that it's always on and yapping, I thought that was normal. I thought that was default for everybody. And then I got my hands on this one called Viennese, I don't know, you figure it out. And I took that, and I have never experienced that level of mental, I want to say shut down, but obviously the brain is still working, but like my thoughts weren't, like, it was just silent in there. I was like on this tram, and then it just like went blank in there, and I was just like, wait, what? Like, I remember noticing it, and was like, and I remember having to consciously try and think about something, because I was like, what's going on? Like, why am I not thinking right now? And I had to consciously try and think of something, and I couldn't. I didn't have anything to think about in that moment actively, so I couldn't like work anything up. And then my brain just went back to being quiet, and I just was so, am I broken? Like, what's going on? And then I got to the library with my friend, and obviously I'm talking to my friend, so like I have activity going on. But then when I was like sitting at my computer, you know, sort of separated and silent, there was nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just sort of like doing things, and I could focus on doing things on my computer because I didn't have anything going up here. And it was so, I want to say it was peaceful, but honestly, I don't know, because I think I'm just so used to the constant chatter in my brain that my idea of peace cannot be silence, because it's just like, if anything, it's a bit more stressful because I'm just not used to that. I'm used to there always being background noise, and I think it makes sense why people with ADHD need background noise and like brown noise or whatever the fuck, because we only really know constant noise. Like, it's never fully off unless you're on medication, obviously, or maybe on drugs. But that was wild. Where did this topic come from? I don't even remember. We're 25 minutes in. Did I figure out what I want to do with my life? No, that was the point.